Welcome back to another episode of Day.Sports. You will notice today I'm all by myself. No Tom this week. He's got some personal matters that are far more important to attend to, so won't have him this week. I was going to try to get somebody else on today, but would have been pretty short notice. And it's not like there's an exhaustive list of people I can just kind of reach out to and jump on. So yeah, you're stuck with me today. So it might be a slightly little bit shorter than other periods. Well, definitely a lot shorter if you have been listening prior while I've done this by myself. Chatting by yourself, there's only so much you can kind of ramble on about, but you know what I would like more than Zac Lomax's field goal on the weekend? That is you guys hitting that like button and subscribe if you are enjoying the content, whether that's the podcast, the shorts, whatever you're seeing, TikToks, Reels, anything like that. Any support for Day.Sports goes a long way. Sorry to sound like a broken record as well, banging on about it, but you know, that support really gets the videos out there, and yeah, really appreciate it. All right, jumping straight into things, we got the round 5 bets. For Tom and myself, they went terribly. What do we go? So, bet to Vegas, no good. No trail mid scores, no stags, XX there, and then all of our multis of the week just went up in flames as well. That's actually one thing that I've noticed this week. No headphones, so that's nice for me as well. Alrighty, another round was just filled with upsets. I managed to get on a few of those. If you followed any of the tips from last week, I wrote out some roughies, and boy, did they come off. Really got me back up there in the tipping comp that I'm in, that's for sure. I think I went from third last, and now I'm back like even in the pack sort of stuff. So that's worked out well. Yeah, I think, dare to say, the top 4 is starting to take shape. It's starting to kind of show its place. You've got the Doggies, they're at number 1. You've got the Broncos, Storm, and then the Waz in there at number 4. So 5 rounds in, I think we're starting to, like I said, see that kind of take a little bit of place at the moment. I'd almost put the Rabbitohs over the Warriors at this point, just because of the games that they've won, but I think it's going to be a tough couple weeks for them without their halves. We'll get into that a little bit later on, but yeah, I think it could be a little bit sketchy for them moving forward. Looking at the Doggies though, the Doggies have won 5 games on the trot. Random stats guy, he put up a post the other day saying that the last 3 teams to start the season 5-0 have gone on to make the grand final. So that is some pretty tasty stuff if you're Doggies fans. It might, honestly, is it the year of the Dogs? I guess we're going to have to see. Winston Neville, no doubt, he's already booked his grand final tickets. He's going to be hot about it. Their defence, it has just been top-notch. And considering these last few games, they've been doing it without Burton, without Kick-Out, without guys like that. I think a lot of people would have kind of written them off until they came back, particularly Burton, but they've just got up every single week and just got the damn thing done. Storm, they're favourites for the premiership for sure. They were coming into the season, came so close last year, were the best team outside of basically the grand final last year. Their spine coming together after years of injuries, and just like there's a handful of games they've been together, is terrifying. Like they can just rip teams apart. It was I'd like to think it was what game was it? I can't quite think of it. It might have been the Penrith game, but there was a moment there where they'd been like, they got a penalty or whatever, and the 4 Munster, Grant, Hughes, and Paps are there standing around like making a decision, and you're just like, that photo almost needs to be like printed out or something, because that is a scary group of players all coming together. You know, besides the odd game snagged by like a Dragons or something like that, it is going to take such a special team to bring them down. They I thought were in for a bit of a tough year after their Vegas start. You know, copping grief for not kind of backing them, but I'm just not 100% sold on them yet. They've had a lot of games over in New Zealand as well, which I think is going to help the Warriors. You know, they do have some tough games coming up that I think that's really going to figure out where they sit. They got Storm, they got the Broncos next. I think if they win one of these games or we get even close, that's really going to give us a good look at where they're at. But at this point, I'm not 100% sure. And Broncos, obviously, we win the comp. It's that easy. Cruising along at the moment. We've got so many points in that, like, I think outside of the Storm, potentially, Broncos probably have the best attacking side in the game. Like, it's just ridiculous, the players. And some of the ones that are sitting in the sheds at the moment, like, you still got, like, Ezra Mam and that to come back in. It's just ridiculous. If the team can stay fully fit, surely we're going to be playing finals footy at the end of the year. Like, that would be the expectation, 100% to be in the top 8, if not the top 4 for the Broncos. Fact that if Reno goes down at the moment, where it used to just be kind of shit, what are we going to do for the next, for the rest of the game, next few weeks, whatever it might be. Having a little backup halfback in Ben Hunt is a little bit ridiculous. Sometimes I almost forget that he's out there, that we've actually got him on our team. Like it still hasn't hit me that that's even a thing. Because Reno, I guess, has really been taking the reins. I'd say more so, obviously wearing the 7 jersey. But yeah, good problem to have when Reno goes down, that you've got Ben Hunt just sitting there ready to go, especially again without Ezra Mam available at the moment. Yeah, quick little recap of, what was it, round 5 games? Was it round 5? Are we up to round 6 already? I should know this off the top of my head. Yeah, round 5 games. Jeez. Okay, Raiders, they beat the Sharkies 24-20. In the dying minutes of the game, that was some real backyard footy stuff. It was giving me flashbacks to the Cowboys versus Broncos in the 2015 grand final when they scored that try right at the end there. Like, that's what I was seeing, particularly that I backed the Sharks, and all they needed to do was get that ball and they would have been able to ride the clock out, no worries at all. It was so frustrating being on the Sharks. They have broke my heart the last few weeks, and you know what? I just can't do it again. But yeah, I was messaging both my Sharks mate and my Canberra mate being like, I hate both of your teams at the moment. I just can't do it. This one won a nice little 6-pack of beer on this one. Cowboys, they beat the Panthers 22-18. Huge upset. No one would have thought that Riff would have lost 4 weeks in a row. Like, that is just, considering how they've gone, is ridiculous. There are Panthers fans that would be feeling emotions that they have never felt before in the last probably 5 years, which is just crazy. Upset of the round for sure. Cows, yeah, went on to get it done. Riff, they have not won a game on Australian soil. I forgot who posted it, so sorry about that. It could have been Random Stats Guy, or it could have been Rugby League Guru. I think it was either, or it might have been Guru. Put that up there, which is just crazy to think of. Like, if you'd told somebody that right at the start of the year, that they'd be potentially facing a 5th game loss in a row, they'd be like, you've lost the plot. Like, what are you talking about? But yeah, Tom and I had a nice little bet on that, so I was riding that game something chronic. Like, I think I had to go out to dinner that night. Well, not had to go out to dinner. Went out to dinner with the missus that night. So I only caught about half of the game. I think once I got to her place, checked the score again. Cowboys bounced back after half time, just going bang, bang, putting some tries on. So I was like, oh, there's a chance here. And then I was just like, having a quick little peek at it kind of at dinner. Nearly got my hand, I think, slapped for that one, but that's on me. But yeah, they managed to hold him out, particularly when Penrith, I think they got a penalty and had a crack with like 45 seconds to go. You're like, I don't even want to watch this. Anything could have happened, but they get it done. Rabbitohs, they beat the Chookies 24-14. This was just an all-time clash. This was a great game. Didn't get to watch all this one, kind of caught like little kind of back parts of it. Jai Gray, man, he just keeps on going with Trell slotting into the centres. He's now topping in the daily endpoints, which is, who would have thought, again, if you'd told someone that at the start of the year. I love seeing Latrell Mitchell play. Like, there's things that he can pull off. Debate all you want about 4 passes, I don't care. Like, there are things that he can do that no other player, I reckon just about no other player can do. So it is pretty good. And against all odds, having their halves go down left, right and centre, hamstrings are just the theme of the year, if not the theme of the last few years in the NRL, but particularly, I swear, like literally every single game, someone's gone down with a hammy injury. So I don't know what's doing there. NRL Physio, reach out, let us know. Eels, they beat the Dragons in Golden Point 23-22. This game shouldn't have been as exciting as it was, but I was on the edge of my seat. Another one, back the Eels in on this one. A lot of people were making points, the Dragons, they might have already kind of gone out and played their big game. Saw Eddie from Hello Sport posting about the Eels that he backed him. I'm like, yes, son, get in, because I wanted them to win so bad. Eels, they were just due. Like, a desperate team like that, it's got to happen sooner rather than later. Just all the stars are lined up for it, and you've got the Gutho versus Eels clash, you've got the Lomax versus Dragons clash. Like, it was just meant to be. So yeah, managed to get that one done. A few times though, I thought the Eels had cooked it. Iongi, I think at one point, like one of the passes he threw over, like I think it was, they had a really good defensive set, kept him down in the end there. Like, they barely made any meters, as in the Dragons, and got the ball back just past halfway, and first tackle has just gone for this massive ball too far in front of the winger, gone out. I'm like, oh, but far out. Zac Lomax, he had a ridiculous game. Obviously slotted that goal right at the end there, quite a long one, and then the field goal. And he was probably a little bit dusty by that point. But yeah, a couple big moments there. Gutho was just twisting the knife against his old club, going over twice, had a hell of a game. No Gutharinos hit, but damn, some of those fans, they had a little bit of backlash from that. They were hitting Gutharinos on the Eels fans, and Yeah, I bet that would have gone down pretty rough at the end of the game, that's for sure. But no, that game had me very excited. But then there was a bit of a fall off into the next one. Finns, they get on the board beating the Titans 36-10. This was just frustrating. Absolute highs of the Eels winning in Golden Point. Me and my roommate were like jumping up, high-fiving. Mind you, neither of us go for either of those teams or could most weeks give a single fuck about either of them. But it was massive highs to then just massive lows with the Titans just looking just flat, just not much doing there. Again, 36-10. It's just a frustrating one. You know, you just, what Titans team are you going to get? You got... Yeah, I just don't know what to say about that. Like, I just thought their forward pack was so much bigger. I thought they were just going to bully them in the middle. They've obviously got X Factor and these exciting guys in the back. They could just pull teams apart and kind of play this like ridiculous brand of footy and score whenever they want. But Finns, they were desperate. Makes sense for them to finally go out and get, you know, something on the board. The Hammer kind of injected himself a little bit more. Obviously got that try there. I think he only scored the one, but yeah, they get it done. Broncos, they thumped the Tigers 46-24. God, I wish they'd put 50 on them and just put the Tigers out of their misery for the year. I will say overall, I think it was a bit of a reality check for the Tigers. You know, they'd been playing really well. You know, I think people getting a little bit too high on their own supply with them. Broncos kind of going, hey, yeah, slow up there. Just a class above. That's pretty much what it is. Tigers, though, they did have it very close in the first half and did get me stressed just a little bit at the start. You know, they would have been going in the sheds ahead, but Renault, my captain, before halftime just goes, yeah, chuck it to me 40 metres out, no worries, I'll just slot that, thanks for coming. Bang, goes over. So that was beautiful, and I think they probably got a bit of a rev up at halftime because they came out and just put it on them after that. Yes, leaked a few points, but like, nearly put 50 on them. Adam Reynolds coming out with that chip and chase in the second half was just thing of beauty. I think the slow-mo that might have, like, Fox put up the footage that they was just beautiful. Brought tears to my eyes. But then him taking the kick right in front, I thought he had done just a real old man Reynolds thing and done his hammy kicking the goal. Supposedly already kind of had a little bit tight and, you know, just said, yep, let's go off again. When you got Ben Hunt as kind of a backup halfback, it's not too bad. But you saw when he's kicking that goal, it's almost like his foot kind of stutter stepped or he like dug into the ground, and I thought that's what might have done it. But no, it was just a thing of beauty getting Renault, seeing him go over for that one. But yeah, so... And then that was one thing as well. Last week, Tom and I were joking about it right at the end, but my little Renault bobblehead, his leg broke the other week, and Tom said, oh, does that mean he's not going to be goal kicking? And I said, I don't know, it could be a bad omen, almost like he's a voodoo doll, and surely enough, I don't know if it was his right leg as well. If it was, that would be wild, but no, luckily he's been cleared and that's all good, but I need to get some super glue and fix that Renault leg up because we can't be having any more injuries. Storm, they absolutely pumped Manly 48-20. How Manly managed to hold on and not have 50 put on them. There was like 17, like however many minutes to go where they just had to get 2 points, but they held on with an inch of their life not to have the 50-point curse put on them. And against the Storm, I must say it's pretty impressive. As soon as it started, it looked like a bloodbath. Like Storm just went bang, 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 and you just thought, oh, why did I pick Manly? But Manly, they managed to kind of, I think it was 18-10 at halftime, something like that, started to narrow it down. And the commentators were saying that they're like, Manly do not want this half stand because the tide started to turn. They got a few points on the board, started to win, you know, got up behind them and were feeling themselves a little bit. But then Storm just came out at halftime and just culled them. Like, that was so rough after that. But yeah, it's just unlucky that they came up against Storm. And then last game for the round, Doggies, they beat the Knights 20-0. Somebody told you at the start of the season that the Doggies would be leading the comp and undefeated by round 5 going into the bye. People would say that you've just lost the plot altogether. But here we are. Knights, they're just in shambles. The defence did hold up pretty good for a while. Doggies were just battering at that door all day. But they had players falling left, right and centre and falling apart before they even got out on the field. Like bad HIAs, calf, just different things going down. Like, it was just no good. And then we've had the first round then of the head high crackdown. So we saw an increase in sin bins, that's for sure. Some of them were pretty bad. Others somehow got away with it. Like, there was, I forgot what game it was. Someone cost like almost got like a Tane Milne forearm to their head. nothing, play on, happy days, like penalty, but nothing came out of it. I think I counted it up. There was 7 or 8 sin bins over the weekend. I don't know if all of those were in relation to, I think Phoenix Crossland, there was like a professional foul where he tripped him. But I think the rest of them would have been head highs. A lot of them, fair enough. Others, it's just like, what are you going to do? Some teams handled it, I think, a lot better than others. I had a joke with a mate of mine, I think, when that crackdown rule came out, that I was like, Brendan Piakora is going to be gone straight away. And he did a little bit of everything over the weekend. Yeah, he managed to get someone head high, Terrell May, and I think he was falling down anyway. But Piakora, like, he shoots out of the line. He tries to boost people, which is a thing of beauty when he gets it right, but when he gets it wrong, it's just no good. And then obviously, I guess later for him, had a bit of a head knock, and it was a bit scary there for a little bit anytime someone gets like medically taken off the field like that. But yeah, it was good to see that he was up and about at the end of the game. But yeah, just one of those things. But I'm sure we're probably going to see it be real prevalent, I'd say, for the next, I don't know, couple weeks. It generally seems to be the way. There's just like a microscope on it, and then they'll kind of ease up a little bit. But again, like, it has been made out to be this massive thing, and sure, they are paying more attention to it now than they have been maybe in other seasons or whatever. The rules have not changed. Like, forceful direct contact, shoulder to the head, that has been a sin bin for ages now. Like, it is what it is. If it was originally what the Mayo man put out, that it was every single head higher was a sin bin, like, that would just be ridiculous, obviously, but it's not the case. Alrighty. Round 6. I feel like this is a wee bit easier of a round to tip, but in saying that, the amount of upsets that have just been happening week in, week out, nothing would surprise me at this point. And yeah, I guess we'll see. Up first, we got the Finns versus the Riff. Finns finally got a W, like I said. Surely we do not live in a world where Penrith would lose 5 times in a row. Edwards, he's back in, which is just massive. Like, he's just a meter eater at the back there. And Blaise Talangi, he has been broken out of his cage and is going to be starting next to Nathan Cleary in the 6th jersey. I'm very excited to see what this combination. It's almost like they've just kind of been like easing him into the system, or just waiting for a moment to just let him go. And I think the Panthers are going to make a huge statement in this one. They might have to sacrifice an NRL team just to let people know that they are still that team. Panthers, I'm going to go with them 13 plus, and I reckon Blaise Talangi is going to get over in his debut in the Penrith jersey. He's got a good running game. He's a big fella as well, so I think he's going to be a bit of a handful. It'll be very interesting seeing him play next to Nathan. But yeah, definitely going with the Riff on that one. I just surely not. Finn's home game, whatever. No way. Dragons versus the Titans. Dragons, they would be kicking themselves after losing last week to the Eels. Again, probably a bad week to be around Flano. They had that loss to the Bunnies, and, look at what they came out and did after the bye, beating the Storm at home at Wynn Stadium. I think this one is going to be real hard for the Titans. Mayor of the GC, Tino, is out after he got sin-binned over the weekend. It really is 2 big packs going at each other in this one. I do not love the inconsistency of the Titans at all, so it feels very sketchy, but I am going to go with the Dragons in this one. I'm going to go 1-12, and I think King Gutho is going to get over. He can hit a little Gutherino this game, maybe, or the money one like Christian Torpilot do. That might be the go, but yeah, I think Dragons at home, they're pretty tough to beat there. Broncos versus the Roosters. Broncos are going to put the Roosters to the sword again. It's simple. We win 13 plus. It is what it is. Poor Chatty Townsend, he's been relegated. Hugo Savala, I'm not too sure how to pronounce that, sorry, comes in to take his spot. Hearing whispers as well down the grapevine that Dom Young might potentially be getting dropped this round as well. I'm not too sure. But yeah, I guess we'll have to see there. Thankfully, my glorious king, Reno, he has been named and clear of any hammy injury. I love that we get Marty Tapau in it as well. I just love, he goes hard, really bit of get up and go about him. Jaden Hunt, he comes in for Brendan Piakora. I saw Paddy Carrigan out on Sunday morning while I was getting a little coffee toasty action out there in Brisbane. So, oh man, one thing I got to say, he's one good looking rooster. Secondly, way bigger than I expected. I've been at plenty of games and obviously seen him, but kind of standing next to them, you're like, geez, you're a big boy. So that makes a lot of sense. No wonder he just dominates in the middle the way that he does. Like, he's just a big, handsome man, that fella. Purely off sound, one of my favourite players out and about, though. I'm going to take Paddy Carrigan to cross the line to get a meat pie. Alrighty. So, Sharks versus Manly. I'm having to record this part again, so sorry if I don't smash it out as easy, but I've lost all faith in the Sharks. I don't care if it's at home. I don't care if they're favourites, whatever it might be. even though Manly got thumped, it was the Storm after a loss. It was just meant to happen. It's forgiven. There's nothing they could have done about that. So I'm going to be taking Manly 13 plus. Get a little bit of frustration out after seeing the Sharks let me down week after week. Sharks, they get some good players back, sure, but Manly, I think they're just going to do them in. I think they're going to be in for a big one, especially after losing to the Storm like that. And Ola Kawatu, I reckon he's due for a meat pie. Probably run over the top of Trindle. Happy days. Alrighty, Rabbitohs versus the Cows. I'm feeling at odds with this one. I feel like we're seeing a very GI-like move with Trell going into 6th there. A team without the halves, though, is like a team without arms. It's just not going to go well. The only thing that might make that work is with Wayne Bennett. Uncle Wayne, the sly fox, being in there. Anything could happen. Cows, they're going to be running red hot, though, after their win against the Riff. 4-time premiers going down to the Cows. No one saw that going. I'm going to ride with the Cows again to get the W. I'm going to go with them 1-12. I think this one is going to be very, very close, and I'm going to go with Purdue anytime to get over the line. Eels versus Milk. By the luck of the bounce, the Milk, they got it done last week. Similar to the Dragons the week before, though, I think the Eels might have cooked themselves. I reckon they would have just been absolute peak physically, mentally, emotionally, everything last week to get that win and might not be able to back it up 2 weeks in a row. God, the Milk, they have been such a cursed team for me every single year. You back them, they lose. You don't back them, they get it done. It's just that simple, and it just continues for me. So I'm not loving that. Constantly in a battle with Sticky and his Raiders, but I reckon they're going to get it done. And Seb Chris, he's looked amazing, really, really good this season. So I'm going to be backing him to get over because he's just been an absolute handful. Storm versus the Wars, they have had some pretty close games in the last few times that they've met each other. Of course, right at the start of last year, Storm only just won that game with that a ridiculous cry that Xavier Coates got in the corner. He just flew through the air like Superman to put it down. But this one, probably a cold night down there in Melbourne. I just cannot pick the Wars, no matter how many times they've been winning at the moment, because Storm down at Amy Park, their record is ridiculous. Again, that spine coming back together is just stupid, like particularly again down at Amy Park. I just don't see it going well, and I can see Paps and that luscious locks of hair crossing over the line because he's just scoring tries left, right and centre at the moment. Now, I'm not too sure if I'm missing something here, but the Tigers, they are underdogs against the Knights. Super close to winning in the first round against the Knights, only missing out by 2 points. Luai and Skelton coming back in. Like, I must be missing something because, yeah, I just see them getting this done. And like I said, 1-12. They had the Broncos on the back foot at the start of that first half. Yes, they kind of got pumped after that, but still they did very, very well. I think their forwards held up pretty well against Paddy and Payne Haas as well. All that was out without Luai. So yeah, pretty ridiculous from them. Phoenix Crossland, he's now into the halves roller coaster as well for the Knights. Their little revolving door of hearts. I think Cogger's out injured or whatever happened to him. And I'm going to go with the try scoring machine Taruva to get over anytime. Now, that brings us to the bet for Vegas. So obviously no Tom for this week, but we're trying to turn $5 a couple times over to make it all the way to Vegas in 2026. Now, I think I found some superb value here. Tigers at the time of recording this on a blue betting agency with $2.31, which I just think is wild. Unless there is something that I'm missing, the Knights, they look depleted. I back the Tigers. Thank you very much for coming. Value for days. Does hurt me that this is the absolute last game of the round, so I'm going to have to kind of ride this one out, but Tigers, they're going to be getting it done, and I'll take that. Thank you. Now, multi, more like bet of the week this week, purely because I saw him out and about the other day getting a nice little coffee and toasty combination. Paddy Carrigan, he's going to be running over the top of the Roosters for fun. I'm going to be backing him to get a meat pie, another one next to his name. He's paying a huge $9.25. Nom, nom, nom. I'm going to take that, Paddy. Thank you very much. I think he's going to be killing him in the middle there. But yeah, that pretty much brings us, well, me, to the end of another episode. Again, make sure you follow on all the socials, like, subscribe. Appreciate all the support. Hopefully have Tom back in next week. Hopefully, if not, I might even have to reach out to someone and do like a little bit of collaboration. Hopefully have a lot more collaborations coming up soon. Got a few things in the works, just got to figure out a couple moving parts, but yeah, no, it should be good. But again, catch you guys next week and have a good one.